it, and then when it comes time to, just move it over. Okay. So my veteran's name is Bob Slocum. He was born on November 14th, 1943. He served in the Navy. His highest rank was E4. This is taking place in Middleville on May 19th. My name is Adam Wright, and my mom is helping me. And then this interview is being conducted for the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress. Okay. So to start with, what was like your life like before you entered the service? Like your growing up, how was that like?
Growing up?
Yeah, before you, and like where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hastings, Michigan.
Had any of like your family members been in the service before that?
No. I had an uncle on my dad's side that he was in the Marine Aviation, World War I. He died in World War I.
Okay.
But that's the only one.
Okay. So you were enlisted, right? You enlisted
Into the Naval Reserve.
Was there a specific reason you wanted to, or is that
I wanted to be in the Seabees, and the only way you could really get into Seabees was go into the reserve.
Okay. So, what was training like for that? What did you have to go through to, like, was there schooling, or what did you do for that?
We went through Great Lakes, regular naval training, and also I went through Marine training at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Okay. Was there any, like, because you were in the Navy, was there specialized, like, training? I don't know how to explain it, but was there any, was it hard to adapt to like the life of being in like the service, like being away from home, and like how was the like life for you physically, like mentally?
Well, it took a while to adapt, not
Yeah.
being away from home. And then, when you end up, well, not right away, but you end up, in different states and stuff before you actually get to your unit. And then you go overseas, and you don't might see your family for, 6 months to a year.
Yeah. What were some of the places you went to?
I was stationed in Newfoundland and then also in Cuba during the Cuban crisis.
Okay. Like, what was your like job for the crisis?
I worked on equipment. I was a mechanic, and we serviced equipment. We also repaired all the stuff that we used as a unit.
Okay. So were there any people that you met during the service that you still keep in touch with, or that you still know?
Well, there was only one person I can remember in Michigan that lives up around Atlanta, and I haven't seen him in a long time, but there was a few of the guys that chummed around with that we kept track of each other for a few years, but haven't since. So.
Do you know any of the jobs they went into after?
No, I don't. One of them was the one in Michigan that I remember, and he was a road commissioner, and then also, because he's, and I don't know if he was a supervisor or not for a road commission, but he was a road commissioner, the one in Atlanta.
Was there any way to like communicate with family back home at that time? Like, was there any way for you to contact your family, or did you send notes or anything?
Well, they used to have a different way of, like you Skype now or something like that, but you couldn't do the phone conversation. It had to be a lot of times over a two-way thing. And then somebody was talking on the phone and you had the person in between, so it wasn't very handy talk with somebody unless you're stateside, then you could call them. You know, when you're overseas, it was a little bit different.
Yeah, that would probably be harder. So how long did you serve?
I have served 6 years total.
6 years, and the Cuban
I had
crisis.
15 months at home after I enlisted in the reserves, going to meetings. Then I had 2 years active duty, and then the rest was reserve time.
Okay. When were you done after the Cuban crisis, or did that fall sort of in the beginning?
Well, that's after the Cuban crisis when I got discharged.
Okay.
Then I had a couple more years of reserve inactive status.
Okay. And you just returned home after that, or did you move somewhere else for schooling, or what did you do after?
After the Cuban crisis?
Or after you left?
Service?
Yeah.
No, I came home and started working.
Okay. Where did you work?
I worked for the Berry County Road Commission. My dad worked for them, and I also had the job before I got discharged, so I came home and started working.
Was it hard to like readjust to life back here?
No, not really. It's nice to be back home.
Yeah,
You know,
I bet.
get back with your own car and everything else that you didn't, wasn't able to use while you was in service.
What sort of things did you not be able to have when you were in the service? Was there certain things that you, like besides having a car and stuff, that you really missed having?
You could have a car while you were stateside, but we could not, when we were stateside, we were a construction outfit, but we could not work when we were stateside. So, because the unions wouldn't let you. So you could have a car while you were stateside, but, after that, no.
Okay.
So it's, and a lot of people didn't. Some people had cars and you hitched rides or, did what you had to do to get around.
Did you ever think of serving again after you came back, or was it just time to settle down?
You mean to re-enlist?
Yeah.
No,
Wasn't a thought?
no.
Yeah, after 6 years, probably.
Well, I was home part of that too,
Oh yeah.
but nah, it just didn't. They were making a lot of changes in the service, and it was even people with 16 years seniority, and they could retire in 20 years, were getting out because of the stuff they were coming up with to
Oh,
do.
wow.
And we didn't go in there for some of this stuff. We went in there to
Yeah.
be construction people and that kind of stuff.
Do you think without it, like, how would your life be changed if you didn't go into the service? Do you think you would be
I
somewhere
learned a
else?
lot in the service. I almost think that maybe things should change now, but back then everybody should serve some time in the service. It was a good eye opener. It was just a good thing for a person.
Do you remember any of the specific lessons or any things that you thought that totally changed your view? Was there any bad type of events that happened? You said eye opening. It was very eye opening. Do you remember any specific examples that you thought?
Well, just living by yourself instead of having family around and getting stuff like that. But, when we were in Cuba, during that crisis, if we started guard duty, there was shots back and forth. It makes you think, But personally, I wasn't shot at that I know of, but there were shots that hit around us. So,
Wow.
but yeah, there's a lot of things that go on. It's pretty hard now to remember everything.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be today? What if you didn't? Where do you think would you still think you'd be where you are today, or do you think your life would have you would have gone in a different direction?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it makes you, when you're out there by yourself, away from family, it makes you grow up
Mm-hmm.
and learn to be responsible and everything else, so.
Yeah. Definitely have to adapt, and definitely learn.
But, you know, I'm doing and still doing what I like to do then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a little bit different fashion right now, but, I'm still enjoying it.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to add, or?
No, I don't think so.
Well, cool. I think that's it. Awesome. Yeah. I didn't know all that stuff, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know you used to, because we just learned about the Cuban crisis.
Yeah, I even got a medal for that.
Oh wow, cool.
Oh, it does.
Thank you. That's all.